Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are talking about the new Marc Jacobs holiday palette. This is the iconic multi-finish eyeshadow palette in the shade CHERRIFIC. Harvey is so thrilled, of course. You guys love seeing my dog Harvey. I figured I would just put him quickly in the intro here so you guys could see him again. He is super tired because we just went for a W, so he is exhausted. Anyways, if you guys want to see my opinion on this brand new holiday palette from Marc Jacobs, whether or not I think it's worth it, and of course all the swatches, then just keep watching. Alright guys, welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Jenna. I'm actually a high-end and luxury makeup reviewer, and Marc Jacobs is definitely a high-end brand, so we're going to be talking about his new holiday palette. Now this is the outer packaging of this palette. It's a gorgeous cherry kind of packaging. We have the green and the red. I guess that's kind of like holiday-esque. This is the inside packaging, of course. You can see here in studio lighting, it's a little bit of a lighter kind of blue-green, but I'm also going to show you a picture in sunlight, which is kind of like more true to light. This is what this palette looks like. It's the exact same shape as his other iconic multi-finish palettes, and it also has 4 different finishes in here, just like the other iconic palettes. So we're going to talk about all of that. There's actually one finish that I always make sure I test out in these palettes because it's kind of like a hit or miss finish. Sometimes the shade does okay, and other times it's a little bit of a lazy shade, I guess. It's not as easy to apply to the lid, so I always check out that particular finish, but we'll talk about all of that. This palette is available at Sephora right now. It does retail for $49.50 American dollars, which is so weird to me. They never usually put like 50 cents in the price, which is weird. In Canadian dollars, this is 65 Canadian dollars. When it comes to Marc Jacobs beauty, I do find that his palettes are actually fairly consistent. I actually have 4 of them in my current collection. There's a few that I've decluttered, and there's also one that I gifted to a friend quite a while ago. But that just means that I'm very familiar with the formula, and it makes me feel like I'm fairly confident to review this one and just see kind of how consistent it is. So for my look today, I actually primed my lids first with my primer, which is the Smashbox 24-hour primer. I've tried so many primers before. I even tried most recently, I think the primer I tried the most recent was the Hourglass Veil primer, which has still been out for quite some time now. But this one is always my favorite. I'm always grabbing this one because it's just so easy to use. Then I let it set. Takes about, 30 seconds to a minute, not too long. And I went all over the lid with this first shade, which is called Juicy. Now, Juicy is a velvet matte finish, and that's one of Marc Jacobs' kind of signature finishes. It does kick up in the pan a little bit, but it is very, very soft, extremely blendable, and this is one of my favorite formulas from him because it's just so user-friendly. It's very pigmented. You don't need a ton of effort to make this look nice. So this is how I started my look, just kind of evening everything out on the lid and just building a good foundation for the rest of the shades. Next, I went in with a MAC 217S brush, and I did pick up my first shimmer shade. Now this is called Ask For, and this is a really gorgeous kind of light shimmery purple. It's really, really beautiful on the lid. It also translates very well with pigmentation. Not as much kick up on this pan compared to the matte formula, but this is a gorgeous, gorgeous formula. Marc Jacobs calls this formula the Sparkling Silk formula, and it is. It's very soft and blendable, very buildable also. It does pack that nice pigment punch, but it just looks so beautiful across the lid. This is a formula that, just like the matte one, I think would be very user-friendly, not just for people that have perfect eyelids, because goodness, who are those people? I don't know anybody that has perfect eyelids. I don't have perfect eyelids. I do have texture from time to time, but I also do have hooded eyes, so I have some deeper creasing. And these formulas, the matte and the silk, they do a great job of just gliding over the lid, which I really appreciate. Next, I took one of my Rephr brushes, and I did pick up another matte velvet shade. This is the burgundy one, and this is the shade called Extra. Now, this is also one that I think packs a pigment punch. I very lightly dipped my brush in this pan, and I found that I grabbed pigment right away. Because it was a shade I knew I was going to deepen the look with, I used a smaller brush on purpose. You don't have to go too hard in the pan, just go very lightly. But what I did find was that the blendability was beautiful. I put a little bit too much on the lid, but I was a little bit worried that it wasn't gonna move or budge, but it actually blends out so well. So definitely a consistent quality when it comes to the lighter matte velvet and then this deeper matte velvet. Now Marc Jacobs has two metallic lame shades in this palette. He does put lame shades from time to time. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. I'm gonna spell it right here because I think it's a French word, but this is kind of like a pearl finish formula. It feels very gel-like to the touch when you swatch it. It's just very smooth, and this type of formula to me is best used wet or with a fingertip. The first shade in this palette that has that lame formula is actually way over here. It's a metallic lame formula. It's like an icy white, gorgeous, like almost looks like diamonds or sparkles on your lid. It's just very, very beautiful. And then the second one is over here. It's on the other side of the palette. This is called Cherries. This is the one that I used next, and it gave me a little bit of trouble. Just a little bit more effort was required to place this one on versus this white one. So when I used a brush first, which was the Sigma E55, this one to me, it just wasn't translating very well on the lid at all. So I did try wetting my brush, then I went in with a wet brush. It was a lot better, but still not perfect. I found that the best way to apply this was with a fingertip, and that's what I did. Next, I went in with the second lame shade, which is that icy white. I really wanted to see how it was going to differ because I did have a little bit of trouble with that first one, the cherry shade, and sure enough, the icy white one performed beautifully. It reminded me a little bit, obviously not the same because Pat McGrath has more of a gel-like smoothness to hers, but this one is very close. It kind of has some characteristics and some similarities of that same gel-like smoothness. If you've ever tried one of the Pat McGrath Astral shades, you'll kind of know what I mean with that. It just has that same kind of quality to it. The Pat McGrath one is a bit superior in my opinion when it comes to quality and just ease of use, but this is one that kind of is along the same lines. The white one worked way, way better. I did find, of course, that applying with a fingertip was still best, but the translation was a lot easier on the lid, so I found for some reason this white shade just worked a heck of a lot better compared to the other lame shade, which was that deep cherry color. Here we do have the final look, and of course, I do think it's very glitzy, it's very holiday, but I do think that this color story does work for fall also, and you know, for a nice night out in the summer too, if I'm honest. The color story isn't like crazy unique or anything. You probably have very similar shades in your collection already. But this is a palette that I would say if you are interested in Marc Jacobs beauty, I think that this palette is consistent for the most part with the rest of his palettes with regards to this shade being a little bit more high maintenance on the end. But I do think that with his other palettes, the lame shade is also the most difficult. So it's consistent when it comes to the matte velvet shades, the silk shades, the shimmery shades. The lame shades are always a little bit hit or miss, with this one being, like I said, a little bit more problematic, but still doable to work with. So if you're a Marc Jacobs beauty collector, or if you're looking for a nice fun holiday palette, this is definitely one that I think you could still get and enjoy. Just use those tips when it comes to that second lame shade. If you have a lot of cherry, palettes or rose tones, and this is something you could definitely skip on, you could. I don't think this is so miraculous that you need it today, but if you're familiar with the Marc Jacobs beauty line and it's a formula that you enjoy working with, this is a really good addition to your collection if you are interested enough in the shades and the color story and you think that you'll be able to use it a lot. So here are the swatches in the sunlight, and you can see from left to right we have Decadent, which is that icy white lame shade that works beautifully. Juicy is the light peach shimmering satin. Delicious is the terracotta matte velvet. Ask For is that taupe purpley sparkly silk. Extra is the burgundy matte velvet. Cherries is the black cherry lame, which is that little more of a difficult shade. And on top is the cocoa matte velvet. If you guys didn't already know, Marc Jacobs actually does the shade names kind of like a sentence. He always does it like this, where you can just read off a full sentence based on the shade names. So this one says Decadent, Juicy, Delicious, Ask For Extra Cherries on top. I am happy with having this one. I do think I'm going to be using it a lot this holiday, so it's a good purchase for me. But let me know down below, what are your thoughts on this palette? Is this one you're going to be purchasing? Just looking at Trend Mood's page, she did announce that there's going to be a full holiday collection with this kind of cherry theme from Marc Marc Jacobs. So we do have this palette, of course. We have a big highlighter once again, but I do think this is going to be much more catered to medium to deep skin tones because it's a warm peachy kind of color. So it's going to look gorgeous. There's going to be a limited edition packaging for the Velvet Noir mascara. There's also going to be some lipsticks in limited edition packaging. So I'm pretty excited to check out the rest of the collection. Really adorable cherry palette this year. What do you guys think of it? Is this on your wish list? Is this something you're going to be purchasing, or is this something you're going to be passing on? Do let me know all of your thoughts. I really hope this review was helpful for you. And until my next one, guys, thank you so much for watching and stay safe. Bye, guys.
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.